Time now for the lowdown on the Lobos.
Welcome back to Team Talk, ESPN Radio 1017, The Team, and we're excited to be joined by the offensive coordinator with the University of New Mexico Lobo football team, Derek Warehime. And thank you so much, Coach Warehime. Appreciate you joining us this afternoon. And, after being a position coach, in a variety of places. Now, I know you were an offensive coordinator at Arkansas Monticello, I believe, but position coaches at New Mexico, Houston, University of Texas. When it was time to get on the field and be the offensive coordinator now at New Mexico, you got to keep your eyes on every element of what's going on the offensive side of the ball, whether it's in practice or in the games, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, everything that happens offensively is 100% your responsibility, and that includes obviously academic and off-field performance, recruiting, as well as every offensive position and every offensive position coach. So the responsibility is big for anybody in this position, but I feel like the people that I've worked under, going all the way back to being raised by my dad, who was a longtime high school football coach, and a number of other quality college football coaches that I've had the opportunity to both play for and work with and work under. Taking bits and pieces from all those guys and great leadership, I feel like they've aided in my development and put me in a position to be successful as a coordinator.
Yeah, let's go back there. Choctaw, Oklahoma, and I guess you played for your dad then, I'm assuming, right?
That is correct.
All right. And then on to Tulsa. You started 34 games at the University of Tulsa, or Tulsa University, I should say. First team all Western Athletic Conference center. So when you're asking these guys to do something, it's not like you hadn't been in that situation yourself being told that you need to make this block or whatever, right?
Yeah, that's right. I think for players, everybody that coaches football didn't necessarily play at the college level, or some even at the high school level. And there's a lot of great football coaches out there. But I do believe that when players that you're coaching and you are asking them to do certain things, there's a level of respect that they've got for you with them having known that you've been there and done that and been in their shoes before. So it certainly helps in a leadership role whenever you've shared that same experience.
No doubt about it. Starting 34 games at Tulsa certainly will get you that kind of experience. Okay, so obviously you guys have had some curveballs thrown at you at the quarterback position, but as Danny mentioned in his most recent press conference, it's like, hey, we're going to just go out there and compete with whoever we have on this given weekend. And last week was an example of that. And so you kind of had to tweak the offensive strategy going into that game, I'm assuming, trying to just continue to move the trains, and obviously the running game was so critical last week.
Yeah, and credit to our players for doing a really good job of executing the game plan. Losing obviously Tavaka, who up until his injury was playing really good football for us, and then obviously Trey Hall as well, coming in and playing at a pretty good level against Nevada. And progressing, in his role, because he hadn't started a whole lot of games here as a quarterback. And then losing Trey to injury, we had to tweak some of the game plan, and Connor did a great job coming in at the end of the Utah State game and throwing the ball around and doing his best to put us in a position to be successful and win that game. We were just too far behind and didn't have enough juice in us to catch up. But, we tweaked the game plan a little bit going into last week and knew that we were going to have to run the football and control the clock more than we had in the past, and really put the quarterback in a position just to manage, as opposed to be a playmaker in the game. And fortunately, our offensive line showed up and answered the challenge that we put forth in front of them, and our running backs did as well. And the quarterbacks, for the most part, did a good job of managing the game. And it's unfortunate to lose Connor, early in the game on the screenplay. Going down and breaking his wrist, and he had surgery today, and he'll be out for a little while with that wrist. But Isaiah did a great job coming in and competing, and he did a great job. And obviously, throwing the first touchdown pass of his career to put our team in a position to win and get Coach Gonzalez's first win as head football coach here was a pretty special moment.
Lobos offensive coordinator Derek Warehime with us on ESPN Radio 101.7 The Team. It was interesting, Coach, because after this last win here with Wyoming, Isaiah kind of half jokingly was telling us in the post-game Zoom presser that there really wasn't much by way of design plays for him or design playbook for him or anything like that. So not even just going from quarterback to quarterback, but once you have to keep getting these guys in, it's amazing. We're talking about a walk-on freshman at this point starting. So I mean, how just kind of bring us behind the scenes about how that goes from your standpoint of getting the offense ready and getting a quarterback ready who nobody was really anticipating seeing at this point.
Right. Well, all the credit for getting Isaiah prepared to play and all of our quarterbacks prepared to play goes to Jordan Salkin. Obviously, I'm in the the coordinator's role, but Jordan coaches our quarterbacks, and he does a great job of coaching them all the exact same, and prepares all those guys the exact same way. Of course, going all the way back into the summer when we were in controlled settings, and Isaiah was joining our program along with the rest of our incoming freshmen and newcoming guys. You didn't think in a million years that Isaiah would be the guy that would step in and go win a ball game for you, and the guy that you'd have to get prepared to go win a ball game as a starter. But we are where we are, and the mentality is always in any football program, not that you ever want to lose a player, but it's man down, man up. And the next guy in the fight's got to be prepared, and it's everybody's job, around Isaiah or whomever the quarterback happens to be, to play their best. And that's what it's going to take for us on Saturday, going into this one against Fresno is everybody's got to play their best and simplify the game in their own mind. Everybody's individual responsibility is not overly complex, but we need everybody on the field on every play to do their job the way they've been coached to do it to the best of their ability. And if we do that, we'll put ourselves in a position to be successful again this Saturday, just like we were last Saturday.
Right, because even for the rest of the offense, I mean, chemistry is so important in that sport, and especially with football and offense and things like that. So you bring in a new quarterback. I mean, for you, as far as making sure that the offense is ready, I mean, certainly that next man up mentality is something that's important to have. But is there anything that you have to change from your standpoint as far as making sure that the offense as a whole is ready to go?
I would say what we've got to do whenever you've got young players in there, especially at the quarterback position, is you've got to help them a little bit more from the sideline. What we're doing right now schematically is not overly complex. It's not, honestly, for anybody at any position. But whenever it comes to making sure that we're in good plays versus specific looks with an inexperienced guy back there at the quarterback position, you've got to be able to help them from the sideline get in and out of or get out of bad plays and get into good plays if some certain things come up. So there's a little bit more of that goes on than there was whenever Tavaka was in there at quarterback, because he had experience. I know he hadn't had a ton of experience with us, but regardless, he'd had experience. So the game wasn't too fast for him. But whenever you've got a younger player in there or an inexperienced player, you've got to help those guys from the sideline and aid in those guys, seeing specific looks and things and make sure that we're in good place so we don't end up behind the chains and in long yardage situations and things like that.
Well, Coach, you've been around some pretty high-powered offenses and, Houston Cougars, Texas Longhorns, but also that New Mexico Lobo running game you had when you coached back here a few years back. What kind of comparisons to your scheme would you say that you have to maybe the University of Texas or some of the other places you might have been, a balance of running and passing, so to speak?
What we're doing here is a combination of what we did at the University of Texas as well as the University of Houston, mixed with a little bit of what we did at both New Mexico here before, and when Bob DeBessa and I worked together at Sam Houston State before coming to New Mexico. So whenever we were here before, obviously we were very run heavy. and we're very involved in option football. That's a part of my background. It goes all the way back to when I was coaching at Arkansas Monticello, and that's what we were offensively was an option-oriented offense. We weren't very good in the offensive line way back when, and the only way that we could run the ball was to read people and pitch it off of people and stuff like that. And we had some success in the running game and throwing the ball off of those presentations as well. And when we came to Sam, mixed some of that into what we were doing with what Bob had done in his past. And then we came here, really implemented those things and really hung our hat on running the football. And then when I went to Houston and got back with Coach Herman and those guys offensively and Major Applewhite and stuff, got back into some more of the conventional spread, 11 personnel offense game. And of course we transitioned that stuff into Texas as well. And so we've taken some of those bits and pieces in the throw game and run game and screen game and stuff like that and kind of married them with some of the things that we have done in the past from an option standpoint. And that's kind of what you're seeing now. What we've mixed in more than what we've done ever in the past is some shifting and motioning and things like that, just changing the way that we present stuff. But we've taken things that we've learned all along the way that we felt were really good and really worked to implement them here at New Mexico.
And I'll tell you, especially when you're in a situation like this where you've had, this unfortunate run of quarterbacks getting injured, having a good running game certainly keeps you in those 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s instead of those like 3rd and 8s and 3rd and 10s, right? And gives you a chance to kind of keep that offense on the field and move the sticks. And then with the philosophy of Coach Gonzalez, and I'm sure you're in line with this, is you get the ball past inside the other team's 40 or 35, then the mentality switch to, are we going to have a 4-down scenario here, and stay aggressive on that, and that's where a running game will really keep you moving the sticks.
Correct. Yeah, you're 100% on point. We believe in running the football. This offense isn't very good if you don't run it well. And that's the mentality. In particular, in last week's game plan was, let's be mindful of play calling on 1st and 2nd down, and let's do our absolute best to live in 3rd and short and 3rd and medium. And of our 15 third downs, 10 of those 3rd downs were 3rd and 6 or less. So we accomplished that goal by keeping it manageable on 3rd down, knowing what our situation was at the quarterback position, and having to throw more quick game on obvious passing downs just to try to get a completion and run for a 1st down as opposed to throwing the ball past the sticks. And then when you're in 3rd and medium and 3rd and short, the defense has got to defend everything. They're not just defending one thing. So that's going to be obviously the mentality going into this one as well, is play the game in 3rd and short as much as you can and still be able to mix in runs, obviously, whenever you get into 3rd down situations and some play action throws and things out in the flat and things like that. But, yeah, definitely. If you're able to run the football and really have control of the line of scrimmage, it helps everything. Offensively, it helps our entire team because we're able to drive the football, stay on the field, continue to allow the clock to tick, allow our defense to stay on the sidelines and rest and not get worn down by getting on and off the field too quick and things like that. So it makes the entire program run well on game day if you're able to run the football.
And it also brings to the table the mentality of toughness. It just, just getting up against those guys and getting your 3 and 4 and 5 yards on 1st down. We're talking with Derek Warehime. He's the offensive coordinator for the Lobo football team. So with that, it also will open up a play action, as we saw when that Isaac was able to hit that pass for the 42-yard touchdown. That came as a result of a play action, so it keeps them honest and it maybe opens opportunity there. Now, also, most of your stuff has been inside, at least most recently. I know that executing the option, as you get to the perimeter and the sideline is so important, the timing, and that's where, if you're, bringing in different quarterbacks, it makes it more difficult. Do you try and balance that by using those reverses or those fly sweeps or whatever to keep them honest on the perimeter? Is that when those come in handy?
Yeah, so honestly, the other night in the game, we only ran triple one time in the game, and saw that Wyoming had done a good job preparing to defend it the way that we had game planned to run it in the game. So we had a few calls off of that same triple option presentation, and we had some explosive runs off of it where it was really just a handoff run where we were blocking everybody but presented it as though it was triple. And we had one where Bobby went for over 30 on one particular run, and another where he went for about 20 on an explosive run, simply off of the presentation because people are so concerned about making sure that everybody's accounted for on the perimeter, and we're able to get the runner loose. And we actually had a play-action pass that after Isaiah had come into the game later in the second half where we had Marcus make it look like he was blocking on the perimeter and then slip past the linebackers and past the post safety, and he was wide open running down the post. And Isaiah just lost him for a second and ended up throwing the ball to the stop route on the sideline. So there's a lot of things that come up that give you opportunities for explosive plays off of the presentations of, like you're talking about, fly motions and option presentations that honestly give you more explosives at times than even actually running the option game.
And, having coached a lot of tight ends over the years, I would think when you're out recruiting for the coming seasons for the Lobos here, coaches, these tight ends over there, you're telling them, you come here and I have an appreciation for the use of the tight end. And my hunch is that in the coming seasons, we're going to see the tight end used even more, correct?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, but we're going to end up with a stable of those guys here in the next couple of years. And be built for, the version here at the University of New Mexico, similar to what's going on, like with the Baltimore Ravens, with the stable of tight ends and different body types that they have and different skill sets that they have here at this level with guys that can do a bunch of different things. So it's exciting to kind of think about the future and what it's going to look like here as well.
Well, thank you so much. We've been really trying to have you on for a number of weeks, Coach, and we're glad that the schedules were able to fit. Thank you so much for joining us on ESPN Radio 101.7 The Team here in Albuquerque, Coach Warehime.
Yeah, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
All right, we're going to try and catch up with him again. That's Derek Warehime, offensive coordinator for the University of New Mexico football team, and it makes you feel really good, Danny Gonzalez, the Lobo football coach, Coach Gonzalez, knowing you got, Rocky Long being your D coordinator and Coach Warehime as your offensive coordinator. All right, we're coming back with much more. This is Team Talk on ESPN Radio 101.7 The Team.